the suicide rates in men are increasing more than anything. I'm like, the suicide rates are increasing because men have no meaning.
Yeah. Chris Griffin, creator of The Pocket.
A podcast of deep conversations about life, mindset, purpose, and the journeys we go through.
You don't have mission because you're not even fucking trying. Mm-hmm. You're going to bed late and you probably fell asleep with your phone on your chest because you were doom scrolling. And then you wake up in the morning, you wake up to an alarm that reminds you that you need to get ready to go to work.
That you fucking hate.
That you fucking hate. Of course you have no mission. Of course you hate your life because you're not doing anything that excites you. Our default is to escape when things get hard. Our default is to suppress when things get confronting. Mm-hmm. And all that is doing is pushing you further away from having this thing that we all fucking seem to want, which is happiness. There's this hidden cost that we don't seem to talk about by not taking action. It's the lurking thought of what could have happened if we did. Like, you don't walk up to the girl in the gym. You then leave the gym, and your whole walk home, instead of thinking about what you're about to do, you're thinking about why you didn't walk up to that girl.
Why do you think so many people lack this purpose, especially in their late teens, early adolescent years as young men?
Purpose is an interesting one. Let's start here.
So Chris, what do I need to know about who you were as a boy to really understand who you are today?
I think we evolve so much. I'm not sure how much my little boy self will actually represent who I am today. And the reason I say that is because I think there's definitely underlying things in my life that have rung true in every phase, every journey, every place I've lived. But at the same time, I truly believe that I've been able to reinvent my life and break a mold. And if I was the same as the little boy back in the day, then perhaps I probably wouldn't be where I am today.
What was he like?
He's had many different things. There's a lot of similarities in the sense that he is fun and playful. He would just grow up in a small town. He would ride his bike everywhere when he got one for Christmas, and he would wake up at 2 a.m. on Christmas morning and walk out, and there'd be a new bike wrapped up in front of the Christmas tree, and my brother would have one there and I would have one there. And I remember as soon as everyone woke up, I would write it down, and I was just this fun, playful kid that would, be the cool kid at school and play around, and it was fun. It was great. I think the key thing that I think rings true is I've always been very curious. I've never really taken no for an answer. And I think that's a superpower.
Makes sense why you're a podcaster now.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. I did this whole, retreat thing, and it went for a week, and there was no service, and I was away, and it was called Vision Quest by Rick Cowley. He's phenomenal. And
recently?
It was about a year. It was actually just before my show blew up.
Okay.
It was in May last year. So over a year ago. Mm-hmm. And we had to basically come up with our purpose statement, but it was basically just a 5-word statement, super lean. There was this whole process we went through. Mm-hmm. And the final thing that I kind of got to was that I'm a curious educator. Mm-hmm. And it was funny, I wrote that, and we had to go through this series of elimination, and we went through all of our different past and all the different phases, all the different things. There was hundreds of words. We had to highlight which ones we resonate with, and then kind of eliminate them, and then do a short list and another short list and another short list, and you'd come up with this thing. And I remember writing it, and I was like, oh, I'm a curious educator. And it felt cool, but it wasn't wow, hit me. Then what we had to do was there was a blank page next to it, and I started drawing on it. It was basically this opportunity for us to elaborate on that purpose statement. I started drawing, and I wrote curious and I wrote educator, and I circled them both, and then I basically did this big explanation of them all. And so curious, I broke out what I'm actually curious about. Mm-hmm. And the topic specifically came up, the different moments that I've been really curious, all these different things. The educate thing, I was elaborating on all the different things that I've done that makes me so excited about educating. And then when we got to the end of this exercise, we were in this circle and we had to go around and explain what our purpose statement was. And Rick said to me, he's like, Chris, can you show and say what yours is? And I pull up my paper and I turn it around like this and I start showing this diagram that I just did. And I was like, so I'm a curious educator. And so like, I didn't really understand it too much. So then what I did was I started elaborating more on what the words actually meant to me. And this is what it meant to me. And this is this. And what I learned was this. And Rick's like, do you realize what you just did? And I said, no, what do you mean? He's like, you were curious about what you just wrote. So you decided to elaborate on that.
Educate us on it.
And then you decided to, from the lessons that you learned from being curious and elaborating on your purpose statement, you then educated us on the lessons that you learned by being curious.
Yeah.
He's like, the process of finding your purpose, you did your purpose.
Yeah.
And
the most
like,
integrated we've ever seen. Yeah.
And I didn't do this like by plan. It just happened.
Yeah.
And I think from a little kid, I've always been that. I would go out fishing when I grew up in a small town in North Queensland of Australia called Airlie Beach. Now, whenever I explain that, Americans go, what did you just say? That was a whole bunch of gibberish. Like I was like, a small town at Airlie Beach with Sundays. This is where I used to live. And I would go fishing with people that were way better at fishing than me. And I'd learn all these things. And I was young. I was maybe 6, 7, 8 years old. And then I remember I would catch these fish and I would come back and I would then go out on the boat with my dad and I would try and teach him what I'd learned. And when I reflect on all these times, I've always been very curious and I've always been a lover of educating the things that I've learned. And so if there's one thing that has rung true and the same, and it's been throughout my whole life, it's probably those two words.
Okay. So looking back, when I think about like, or when I ask, like, okay, little Chris, little boy, what age of you pops into your head?
I actually don't have a lot of major memories that are turning points when I was really young.
Yeah.
When I think of little Chris, I actually think of maybe 17 years old Chris.
Interesting.
Yeah. So like my final year of school, grade 12, and I'm 23. It was under 7 years ago when I'm thinking about that guy. And yeah, I think about him because that was where it all really changed.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was lost and I was just not sure on what my life was going to look like. And like from the age of 17 to 18 was a day and night difference in my life. And
what happened in that year?
Yeah, well, I was in a relationship at school and I was the cool kid. I literally won. People don't believe this. Like I won the Jock Award at school where all the students would vote for these awards for the formal.
Yeah.
And
superlatives, they call it.
Yeah. And like, they called out a Jock Award and I rock up on stage and I'm wearing these like ridiculous glasses. I had snuck a flask into my formal. We weren't allowed to drink.
Like the classic fucking jock.
Yeah. And
Letterman jacket vibe.
Yeah, exactly right.
What was your sport?
All blacks. But the thing is, I played AFL, but I think it was more like this nature of, yeah, you're the sportsman, but you're like, you get the ladies and you do this fun X, Y, and Z and you're the cool kid. Looking back on that guy, like I'm grateful for that because there's an element of humor, laugh, dance, play that I have in my life that I'm incredibly grateful for because if I didn't have that, I'd probably be a bit serious and boring. So very grateful for all of that. But there was a turning point. I was very lost and my parents were like, Dad wanted to send me to a better school because the teachers kept calling up and saying that like he's not going to school or he's not doing his work or he's getting in trouble and all of this. And so Dad was like wanting to send me to another school. And I was like, Dad, don't send me to another school. I'm not going to do any different. I'm not interested in learning about this bullshit. and so it would stick that out. And then Mum would send me these like ridiculous job opportunities that were like being a tradesman and being a bricklayer or whatever it was. And I didn't want to do any of that, but I didn't want to go to university.
Why not?
Well, I didn't want to do any of the things that you got from it.
Yeah.
And again, tying into this curiosity piece and never taking no for an answer, I just couldn't comprehend why I would do something that I didn't want to do. And I know it's easy to say that in reflection now that I'm doing my own thing, but I truly in that moment, like, did not want to do that. And so, but the thing was I didn't know what the other alternative was.
Yeah.
So I just was lost. I was like, I didn't know what to do.
I remember being that age, and I grew up in New York. Not too dissimilar from a lot of what you shared. Although I didn't get the Jock Award. I got the next Picasso Award.
I mean, that's cool.
I'm not now, but I remember, and I still feel this way, which is wild, but like people would be like, hey, which college do you want to go to? This one, or this one? And it'd be like basically the 3 same colleges, just in a different state, all within a 2-hour drive of New York. And the people that I knew who went to those schools, I was like, I fucking hate those people. Like, I don't want to be that guy at all in 20, 30, 40 years. So why would I like even start to follow his path? And people are like, whoa, what do you, like, it would like short circuit people's minds. And I was like, well, I don't really know like exactly who I want to be, but I know that's what I don't want to do. So I'm going to like do the thing that I think is step one to like the life that I think I want. At least it's different in some capacity. And I feel the same way still about all kinds of stuff. And just like not taking advice or even following the path at all.
Yeah, I definitely think that there's similarities that we all have in our life that are relative to our younger self. But honestly, what I think is such a powerful frame for me that I think it serves me, and I hope it will serve a lot more people as well, is just not even letting that define you at all. Like, I actually don't really care about your childhood, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about you specifically. I'm more talking about like anyone, because if you keep talking about this, you're living in a lens that basically is saying there's something in your past that's stopping you from doing what you want to do.
Totally.
And I just don't think that's the case. I think you can teach an old dog new tricks. I think you can do anything that you truly want to do. And not only can you do it, but you can do it a whole lot quicker than you ever thought is possible. Yeah. And I truly believe that. And what I think is a powerful frame to live in and a more powerful message to talk about is actually like, what is holding you back right now?
I think blaming your shit, patterns, whatever you want to call it, as an adult on, I'll even reel it in. I won't say the word blaming yet. I'll say, like, if you're an adult and you're attributing your patterns, your tendencies to how I was raised, or like, oh, my dad had this, so I got that from him, or my mom used to do this to me and I got that. That's like a cop-out. It's like the easy excuse. I was talking to my men's coach about this yesterday, about my relationship with money, how I look at money and wealth building now. I was like, honestly, we're trying to get to the root of like, why is my brain wired the way it is, the way I make decisions about money now, and how I like to take risk and how I like to allocate. And I was like, I said out loud, I was like, I'm fully aware as to like how I was raised financially from my mom and my dad, and like what they didn't do well and what they did do well to teach me about money. And I feel like it would just be the excuse, like the easy answer to be like, oh, the reason I am the way I am today is because of how I was raised, period. And it's like, well, then what? It's like, now you're just going to like continue that pattern, like, or just get the fuck up and like change the pattern.
Yeah.
You're letting your past self dictate your future self. It's like they neither exist. I don't know.
Yeah. I in that Laird Hamilton episode that just came out today, was talking about how the only place your happy place can be is in the present. And so your happy place is where you can be most present.
Yeah. And
so for him, his 2 examples was where he's most present is being on a massive big wave and having sex. And he was like, look, both of those, I think the reason why they're happy places is because of how present I can be.
Yeah.
Like when you're on a wave that's that big or you're going that fast, you can't think about anything else than what's right in front of you.
Yeah.
You're so in the moment.
Yeah.
So perhaps you're so busy escaping the present moment that you actually can't ever be in a happy place. And there's this framing around being able to realize this when you're not happy. Like our default is to escape when things get hard. Our default is to suppress when things get confronting. Mm-hmm. And all that is doing is pushing you further away from having this thing that we all fucking seem to want, which is happiness.
Yeah.
And you said before about if you're an adult, I would even go to say if you're anyone, like if you're a kid and you don't like your life and you're voicing that you don't like your life, that's your fucking fault.
Yeah.
You don't like your parents and the way that they are telling you what to do. You live under their roof. You need to listen to them.
Yeah.
go and make your own money and move out if you don't like what they are telling you to do.
Yeah.
Because as far as I'm concerned, if they are making you dinner and they are cleaning your clothes and they're making your fucking bed, like
they're keeping you alive. Without them, you would be dead. So far,
yeah,
as a kid.
So like, it's not got to do with adult or kid, as we said before we press record. Is like maturity is not tied to age; it's tied to responsibility.
Yeah.
If you don't like what you're doing, bear more responsibility.
Yeah.
And when you can do that, then you don't need to rely on anyone. And complaining is just basically pushing problems onto other people.
Did you see a lot of this in Australia growing up, or was this eye-opening to you about kids when you came to the U.S.?
What did I see? What do you mean?
I would sum that up as like this entitlement and this like lack of ownership.
I think it's everywhere. I think Australia, it's probably one of the worst parts of the culture. Not that element, but there's this element of victimhood and tearing people down. Unfortunately, it's the most beautiful place in the world, and I still want to raise my family there. At this phase of my life, I'm kind of going, I couldn't see myself raising a family anywhere else than on a farm in Australia, because that sounds phenomenal. But unfortunately, there is aspects of the culture that are just not conducive for growth.
Yeah,
they want to tear you down. Like, I was thinking about this at the gym earlier. Imagine being a hater, just any hater on anyone trying to do anything that they really want to do. Like, imagine what's going on in your brain where your default is to just shit on someone for trying to do something that's different, trying to do something that's better.
Yeah.
Maybe they're not competent at a thing, but at least they're giving it a go.
Yeah.
Like, being a hater on that has to be a pretty low place to be.
You're miserable.
Yeah. Well, we had
JT Barnett on the show. I don't know if you know him, and he sat in the seat you're in right now. He said a line I'll never forget. He was just like, no one hates when they're happy. Like, period. Just no one hates when they're happy. And now every time I see, I mean, God, you know how many fucking hate comments I get? You get them too. Like, we all see it, or someone shows up or whatever. Or I'm feeling that way. I'm just like, pause for a quick second. How can I make you a little bit happier right now? Or like, I'm so sorry you're just not that happy right now. I don't know what to tell you. That sucks. And just like all of a sudden came over.
Yeah. Robin Sharma on my show, the author of the 5 a.m. Club and The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari, he was talking about how like what the monks do is when they have a stressful day, they meditate for 6 hours instead of 3. It's like, oh, I've got such a busy day, I should meditate for double more. Yeah. And I think what that does is it allows it, and I don't do this and I don't meditate. It's definitely a practice that I probably should try and onboard more, I think. But this element of being able to just be calm, I think it's the biggest superpower. You know, when all the stuff blew out with me in Australia, when they tried to cancel me, and the most spoken about drama for 2 weeks straight in Australia, and people started attacking me for things I said on my podcast, and I stood true to everything that I said and doubled down. Like, the realization in that moment is everyone's got an opinion and everything is interpreted. And the way that you're reacting to something positive or negative is just a reflection of what's going on in your own fucking life.
Yeah.
And the way I could see that, which was amazing, is I was receiving thousands of messages every single day. Every second a new message would come in, and every single person on Instagram, I could click on their page and they'd have a profile. And besides user 446 with a pink profile picture that's private that has 0 followers that says I'm a twat, everyone had a following and a photo, and maybe their account was not private, and I could see what they were, and I could directly see that someone that was loving me and sending all this love was maybe a married woman with kids and a partner that she loves. And then someone that was hating was someone that was in a job that they hated, and that they, you know, were a woman in their late 30s without kids and out a partner. Like, that's a pretty tough place to be in. Yeah. Of course you're hating, right? And the great thing about having all of these messages, it was so much data to realize that nothing's actually personal. And how freeing is this feeling of realizing that no hate is actually personal.
Yeah.
Everything is just telling them a bit about themselves. And people might come back and go, that's taking 0 agency on the things that you have said. You need to take ownership. And I'm like, well, I've taken ownership. and I've reflected, and what I said, I believe,
Yeah.
and it serves me. So why would I change that to make someone else happy?
Yeah.
And yeah, and so yeah, there's this element of like when you truly believe that nothing really is personal and everything's interpreted, you can't actually be mad or you can't take anything personal of people's hate, and it doesn't really faze you.
I love to ask you about purpose.
Mm-hmm.
You seem like the type of guy who figured that out rather young, like what he's here for, what he stands for. That's a really important one. What you stand against. You seem to have a really strong frame around where your boundaries are and what that is, and you communicate it well. I mean, even before we hit record, you said things like, "Oh, like I disagree with that, or I would challenge that," or like, "This is how I feel about this. This is where I stand here." Wonderfully refreshing. How many people these days just kind of like sway around and don't really have a stance on things. They kind of dabble in that, and it's honestly very frustrating.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you think so many people like lack this purpose, especially in their late teens, early adolescent years as young men? Let's start there, because there's going to be a lot to this.
Yeah. Well, there's two things you bring up there. You bring up saying what you think, and then you also bring up purpose. Two different things.
Yep.
Purpose is an interesting one. Let's start here. The Alchemist, phenomenal book. It says this line in it, broke me when I read it. I was like, holy fuck, that's so true. And he says, the closer one gets to his personal legend, the more powerful the personal legend becomes. And the personal legend he's referencing there is like your purpose. It's your thing. And when you don't know what that is, of course it's not powerful.
Yeah.
But the closer you get towards it, the more powerful it is. Now, here's the key. You're never going to find your purpose. You're just going to always get closer to it. And that's the best part. Because if you could...
Why not? Why wouldn't you ever find it?
Because it keeps refining and it keeps evolving.
Yeah.
And it keeps becoming more meaningful. So, like, the best part about it is that you'll never reach it.
Yeah.
Because it always gives you something to chase.
Mm-hmm.
The great thing is, if you're aligned, the closer you get to it, the more powerful it becomes and the more it lights you up. So when you're starting out, don't think you can click your fingers and find purpose. You might have some idea of it, but let me tell you, I guarantee you it evolves. It's going to evolve so many times. There might be underlying things that remain true, but it's going to keep evolving.
Dude, I get so upset when friends, anyone I know is like, they're just not taking action. And then they're complaining about how they haven't found what they're like really passionate about, what they're obsessed with. I'm like, well, what did you do the last like 40 hours? Like, how did you spend your week? I go, like, I went to work and then I like played video games and like went to the gym. It's like, okay, like go to the gym, do your work, playing video games. Fucking stop that. Like, okay, you like bikes. Go like start a bike meetup. Like, do the fucking basic thing to take a step.
I would even strip it right back even more. I'd be like, remove all the fucking bikes and sit in a room or sit in a barn in the woods with nothing and just see what you find.
Yeah.
Finding a purpose is not about onboarding more shit. It's about removing all of the shit in your life that is not serving you. You just have so much stuff that is just clogging your vision. Of course, you can't have anything come into your life that you like because you have no space. Like, remove all the shit.
Yeah.
And when you remove the shit, you'll be surprised at what comes in.
I'd be curious if you have whether you have it already or you can make one right here on the spot, like the formula to like young engineer's mind to like how to find your thing. Step 1, for example, sit in a dark room, dopamine detox, 2 hours. Like, how would you start to build this guidebook? It's a weird one.
No, I think it's a bit more simple than this. Shorten the gap between your thoughts and what you say. Be more authentic. We think one thing and then we say and we act different. And that's your problem. Because you're showing up in a way and you're acting in a way that is not actually what you're feeling and you're thinking. And the moment we start to shorten that gap and get to a state and arrive at a state where we're in our true authentic self, magic happens. People feel it. People are gravitated towards you. They want to help you. You start acting based on what you truly want to do. You remove the noise. You say no easier to the shit that doesn't serve you. And then when you're acting in that way and your focus is aligned, you'll be surprised at how much magic comes into your life. Again, it's not about finding the purpose. It's about progressing towards it. And the key here is being authentic, because you know it's a slippery slope? Thinking what your purpose is, even though it's not aligned with you, but you think that's the right thing for you, and then achieving something that you're not, and then showing up in a way that you're not. So people around you start liking you for your persona, not for who you are.
And you burn out so fast.
Well, you don't even burn out. You feel like a fraud. You're not even who you are. And you feel so isolated. You feel so alone. And you don't feel like anyone knows you. Like, loneliness isn't the absence of people. It's the absence of connection. You will have no connection. You may have people, but you'll have no connection. And you'll feel empty because you're being someone that you're not. If we can remove the gap between our thoughts and what we say, and we show up in that way every single day, no matter what it is, that's where the magic happens.
Can you paint the most vivid picture you can for me of the most authentic person you know?
Matthew McConaughey.
Why?
Because he thinks it and he says it. He feels it and he does it. And like, think about someone at the pinnacle of one's career. Biggest actor in the world. But before that, he was the biggest rom-com actor in the world. And he was the star. No producer wanted anyone but him. And he gets offered a $10 million rom-com deal. And he says, I don't want to do rom-com anymore.
They give him more money.
And then they give him more money, and then they give him more money. And by this point, he's fucked off to the Amazon jungle and he's left Hollywood just because he didn't want to. It didn't serve him. It didn't light him up. It wasn't him. If you think about the way he writes and his poetry and the way he acts and the way he shows up, the reason he is so big is not because of the way he looks. It's because he's actually him. You know, I think as AI automates the world, people are craving human connection. That's all they really want. And if we can connect to a human, we're going to go places. But trying to be someone that you're not is basically asking to never be connected with anyone, because people are going to connect to someone that you're not. And I think this is probably a reason why I gained so much inspiration from Matthew McConaughey, because he truly be himself. And when you can be yourself, that's when you become charismatic. That's when you become liked. That's when you try new things. That's where you become creative. That's where you don't onboard shit that doesn't serve you. You just do what you want to do. And there's a freeing nature that comes with that, and people flock towards it. And so, I would say that that's a good representation of authenticity.
What grade would you give yourself on this one? Authentic, being yourself.
I'd say like an 8 out of 10. I'd say that there's a lot, I've progressed a lot more from this. There was definitely times where, I feel like I would be authentic, but I think there was a lot of external validation that was driving me.
Like what?
I just think that I needed to be reminded of my worth. And I think that's ego driven. Not confidence. And I think I'm pivoting very far away from being ego driven and more towards being confident.
What's helped you get there?
Couple of things. Overcoming like certain storms and realizing that I'm actually okay to stand in a storm and it's not going to knock me over. And if it does, I can probably stand back up, or the storm's going to pass. Making money helps, because then you know that you don't need to please anyone to keep a roof over your head. And you could go off the face of the earth and you'll be okay, which is quite freeing. I'd say those two things. But ultimately, I think the key there is just going through pain and fucking punching it in the face and going, yeah, you don't own me at all.
Yeah.
And the more you do that, the more confidence you have. You don't feel like you need to prove anything because you know your worth.
Yeah.
I think the biggest problem is people are going on easy mode. And, I love the stoicism approaches of like going through more hard, makes your life easier.
Yeah.
And I think that's been the lens that I've taken, not by plan, but it's been the route. And I'm very grateful for that.
I have 4 half siblings that are in high school right now. They all are up in New York. 3 boys, one girl. 2 on my mom's side, 2 on my dad's side. And so I've got these little like vehicles that I could watch the world through a little bit. They're not my kids, they're my half siblings. But I can see how modern social media is impacting them, porn is impacting them, and like what they're turning into, how like different parenting styles from my mom and from my dad are like impacting these kids. Long story short, I think I can't speak for the whole generation, but a lot of this generation is growing up in a very protected, safe, soft place, which means all those opportunities for them to get punched in the face, it doesn't really ever happen that much. And if it is, it's like pretty minor compared to a lot of the stuff that like we went through and a fraction of what our parents went through. It scares the shit out of me.
Do you think it's the parents that are mainly contributing to that or something else?
It's a lot of things. The parents are a part of it. I also do believe like it takes a village to raise a kid. And when all the parents in the village are like that, then just the way it is.
I think it's more than parents.
Yeah, what do you think? It's also easy for us to sit here and be like, oh, this younger generation don't know shit. But it's like...
Well, I'm in the fucking generation. I'm 23. And I would argue it's far beyond parents because these kids are spending 8 hours a day at school. They're spending more time with teachers than they are with their parents. And they're spending more time on their phone than they are with their parents. The parents can only do so much. I think there's power in parenting. It's probably the most important role. And I think it's a duty for everyone to be a parent, to keep the species alive and keep us going. That's what we're here for. And there's a lot of confusion going around and a lot of social norms going against that. And I think it's the most ridiculous concept ever. But I think we should be being very careful with how we are parenting. But honestly, I think it comes down to the messages that they're being told, the lies they're being told. I just think it's ridiculous. Yeah. Like you said before we press record, you're like, are you open about talking about mental health? I'm like, yeah, I can talk about mental health. What do you want to go down? Do you want me to go down this lens of like, be open and honest about men's mental health because men are struggling? And I'm like, yeah, men are struggling because they're so fucking confused. They can't walk up to a girl at a bar. The girls aren't interested in them because women are making more money than men, and typically in the workforce, but women want to date someone that's making more money than them, but there's not as many men. So then women are fighting for this little pool of men, and then all the rest of them feel useless and worthless, and they don't know their place on this earth. Of course they do. They're on easy mode.
Yeah.
And I think there's a level of agency that needs to come in and a level of common sense that needs to come in people's lives to be able to go, hey, maybe I should question what I'm being told. Maybe actually, like, I think the number one question that parents should ask their kids when they go to school is like, don't take everything as gospel and question everything that's being said.
Yeah. What do you think?
What do you mean?
No, like ask the kid, like, what do you think?
What do you think?
Or like, just think. Like,
yeah, well,
like, think.
Like, I think there's this freeing feeling in going, nothing's real, everything's interpreted. There's very few facts in this world, and choose what serves you and disregard what doesn't. Making sure that you're not harming anyone else. Like if you can choose the things that serve you, choose the beliefs that serve you. And so I don't care who they are, but if they give you an opinion, you onboard it and be open-minded, but you disregard it if it doesn't serve you.
Yeah.
And it might serve you later on in life, but if it doesn't right now, what's the point of onboarding something that doesn't serve you? And then make sure that you're just showing up in a way in service of others where you're not harming anyone. You have no malicious intent. You're doing everything with the best interests of the world and everyone's future.
Yeah.
But you're not onboarding shit just for the sake of it.
Yeah.
And not onboarding ridiculous ideologies just for the sake of it. Yeah.
Here's a hypothetical scenario. Let's say you were tasked with hanging out with a 16-year-old dude for a day. You had to be his mentor, like his little big brother for a day. And after a couple hours, he opens up that he really likes this girl in his class. He's never had sex. He's never even kissed a girl. And he's like clearly got some fear around it.
Mm-hmm.
And this is right now, September of 2025. What would you tell him? What would be your advice?
Mm-hmm.
You alluded to it a little while ago, like elements of this, but I'd love to dig into this deeper.
I alluded to this. I mean, the advice is shorten the gap between your thoughts and what you say.
Hmm.
You know, there was a girl at the gym the other day, and I thought she was absolutely gorgeous, and I bitched out and didn't go up and speak to her. And I was like, what am I doing? I'm actually just like, why? Why would I not do that? Like, ridiculous. And so it would be hypocritical to say to the guy, just go up there. Don't be a sook and go up and speak to him. But like, that's the reality of it. It's just, the thing is, I just think about like, what do you truly want and go and get that. And the sooner we can remove all the shit in between that, I think the better our life's going to be.
Yeah.
Because there's this hidden cost that we don't seem to talk about by not taking action. It's the lurking thought of what could have happened if we did.
Mm-hmm.
We don't seem to think about this cost. Like, think about the amount of mental storage is being filled by the thought of what could have happened if I did the thing that I wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you don't walk up to the girl in the gym. You then leave the gym, and your whole walk home, instead of thinking about what you're about to do, you're thinking about why you didn't walk up to that girl.
Yeah.
So the actual opportunity cost is far greater than just not getting that girl's number and going on the date and maybe meeting the love of your life. It's actually all of the space it's just taken up in your mind by not doing the thing that you wanted to do.
Yep.
And so I think when you stack enough of these on, you realize that all of the inaction is costing you more than nothing. You're actually at a net negative by not doing the thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, my advice would just be do it as much as you can.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that advice. How do you feel though about, so you said shorten the gap between what you think and what you say.
Mm-hmm.
What's your take on increasing the gap between reaction and response, which is a bit of a different context? So for example, somebody cuts you off in traffic and you have your date in the passenger seat and you're driving. And like your reaction is like you road rage, you want to scream and curse and all that. But the response is like, do you actually scream and curse? You felt it in your body, but then the reaction is like, maybe I like sit back, take a breath for a second, like stay cool, calm, and collected because of my environment, who I'm with, all that, etc. And I think a lot about these days of like, it's a huge superpower as a man to really be able to separate your reactions and your responses, control that versus just being this like impulsive, all around, just like you're impulsive.
Mm-hmm.
Different things, or what's your reaction to that?
Have you ever noticed that the calmest people are the criminals, the military men, and the scariest looking dudes have the calmest energy you've ever met?
So I've been training martial arts for about 5-6 years, and that I see it in that community a lot. The black belts are like the softest, kindest dudes, and
Mm-hmm.
they're the ones who can kill you with the snap of a finger.
Yeah. They've been through something more painful than being cut off in traffic enough times that being cut off in traffic is not a problem
Just
for
doesn't
them.
even faze them.
And it's as stoic as it gets. If you're being too reactive, go through more shit
Mm-hmm.
and you won't be reactive.
Mm-hmm.
The biggest superpower is being calm in the chaos, being stoic.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Just go through more shit. It's the hardest thing to hear because as your beta reactiveness male nature that you are, it's not an easy route to get out of that. You can't just breathe a couple times, or well, that would probably help.
Mm-hmm.
Your central nervous system's probably shot through the roof,
Mm-hmm.
and breathing would probably make you calm down.
Yeah.
But like, go through more shit and overcome it, and then the traffic won't phase you.
Nothing. Yeah.
Like nothing will phase you.
I used to have this rule in my last relationship that whenever I'd get in a fight, it was my own personal rule. She never even knew this, but like whenever we'd have a fight or an argument, we had bad fights and arguments. I have to go to jiu-jitsu that day. Like I just have to go. Because laying there, getting someone fucking choking me out, trying to kill me is always worse than whatever the fight was. And so I always leave the gym and I'm like, what was I upset about? Like, I don't fucking remember. And it just, goodbye.
Yeah. I also think you're probably lacking mission and purpose.
Absolutely was at the time.
You're lacking mission and purpose if you're reactive. Because like when you're so clear on what you're trying to achieve, you don't give a fuck about anything else.
Yeah.
Like if I want to make $20 million and I'm so clear on that, do you think worrying about a parking fine is helpful?
And you're so clear on like, this is,
it's almost
like just so fucking below me right now.
Why would I care? Why would I care? Like truly, why would I care about an $80 parking fine if my goal is to make 20 million? If my goal is to make 20 million in the next year, it's not. But if my goal is to make 20 million in the next year and I get an $80 fine and I complain about the fine, I don't truly believe that I can get 20 million.
Yeah.
You just lack confidence and you lack mission and you lack passion and you lack drive because like they can't live in the same mind. They can't.
Yeah.
The most freeing thing, like the most freeing thing is being able to make your decisions on the premise of the decision itself, not how much it's going to take, not how much it's going to cost. And think about all of the limiting beliefs that we have that run our life, the fuel prices that go up, how much our coffee costs and the parking fine that we get. But like all of these things just consume us and they just like add these little bits of doubt and uncertainty and stress into our mind. And it's the most freeing thing being able to remove that.
Yeah.
And I would say that like the reactiveness is only there because you don't really know what your path is.
Yep.
I can't really think about any of that.
Yeah.
It's funny when you think about this. I was thinking about this when I got into a bit of the media trouble and I lost a bunch of brand deals and a lot of stuff happened. I kind of was like surprised at how well I was dealing with everything. I felt so calm when I was perceived to be in like a really, really bad storm. Calmer than I've ever been. It was crazy. My Whoop scores were like higher than they'd ever been.
Mm-hmm.
And I was in like the worst, like cancelness nature ever.
Mm-hmm.
And I was reflecting on it and I just went, holy shit, this is like a positive feedback loop.
Yeah.
What happened is I went through this storm and I wasn't phased. So then I was reminded of if I'm not phased with this, I'm not going to be phased with anything.
Yeah.
I feel unstoppable.
Yeah.
Now, admittedly, that's from a naive 23-year-old self that hasn't been through extreme problems like my family being sick or family loved ones passing away. Like I haven't been experienced any of that and I'm blessed that I haven't been able to go through that. But based on the information that I have right now and the life that I've lived, I truly feel this level of like, I'm a bit more unstoppable now.
Yeah.
And so there's this element of going like, I'm so crystal clear on what I'm trying to achieve and I've gone through enough and I've self-inflicted enough pain that things don't phase me as much.
Yeah.
And it allows me to be so much more free moving forward.
Here's a weird curiosity. So you collected all these brand deals. You collected all the stuff that you then started to lose because you were going through a moment of potentially being canceled.
Yeah.
Could you say that all the stuff that you had collected may not have even been authentic to you in the first place? So then when you started to lose them, it was almost like a freeing release of these things that deep down at your core, it was almost like, this isn't for me anyway, like shedding the fat.
It was crazy. Like 2 weeks before I lost the brand deal, I lost like $30,000 a month in 4 days. Like long-term contracts, and literally would get an email from their accounts team in the other side of the world saying that as per section this year, contract canceling it immediately. Like it was like flies, but it's funny. Like 2 weeks before it all happened, I remember they were coming through. I was like, I asked for this. I remember like 2 weeks before it all happened, I was like, I'm over promoting other people's shit. Like, I don't want to do the brand deals. I hate it. I don't like it.
Yeah.
And then all that blew out, and then I lost them. I was like, damn, like I remember I'd get these emails, I'd start laughing. It was this weird synchronicity of life where like I launched something else and I started making all this money outside of the brand deals the same days I was losing the brand deals. And it was this weird thing where I went like, everything's really perfect and weird.
Yeah.
I asked for this.
A door's closing, another one's opening.
Yeah.
I believe in that very much.
And even if the other door didn't open yet, there would have been a level of trust that everything was perfectly fine.
Yeah.
And yeah, I would say that, you know, I think it served me for that moment, but I was getting pretty over them.
I mean, I would say those were your little parking tickets.
Hmm.
Something that really saddens me, and it's one of the reasons I started this show. It's something we talk about all the time. It's shit that I talk about with my dad and my younger brothers and friends all the time. But we're in a society of missionless men. So many men who don't have a mission.
Mm-hmm.
That's like a pretty intense word too, like mission, like going into war. You know what I mean? Talking to my girlfriend about this a lot. I am very clear on my mission. I haven't always been. I have been very clear on a mission and then not. And then again, new mission, and it ebbs and flows. But that's fucking journey of life. It's beautiful. And I can clearly tell you the chapters where I'm not that clear, I'm a mess. Like I'm reactive. And I know this is true for anybody. Reactive to things, not really regulated, definitely not making as much money as other times. I'm saying yes to a lot of random stuff, not sleeping as well. HRV scores are lower, just like out of alignment. And then once you kind of figure out what the mission is for the next run, all of a sudden everything just like falls into place. Money triples, sleeping better, relationships. The person you were seeking shows up immediately. Like it all just happens. And I do get asked a lot, I'm like, how do you find your mission? And it's like, I don't know. I don't know if I could write a book about that. I don't even know if I want to ask you that. But what's your take on a society of missionless men?
Yeah. They're just not going through enough pain. I don't want to bring this conversation around in circles, but like, of course you don't have mission. You're going to bed late and you probably fell asleep with your phone on your chest because you were doom scrolling. And then you wake up in the morning. You don't wake up naturally. You don't wake up to do something you want to do. Mm-hmm. You wake up to an alarm that reminds you that you need to get ready to go to work.
That you fucking hate.
Yeah. Then what happens is you get your lunch break. You probably eat some fucking garbage. Mm-hmm. You go back to a job that you hate. When you finish that, you get in your car and wait hours in traffic to go back to a home that you don't even like, in a place that you don't even like because you can't afford the place that you do like. You then eat some garbage again, don't have any connection with someone that you love. You have no passion. You maybe turn on a video game, play some fucking games and go to sleep. And then you do it all again. And then when you get to the weekend, you drown your sorrows in alcohol. And then you're hungover Monday, Tuesday, questioning your whole life. And then Wednesday comes around, you've recovered from the alcohol, but all you're thinking about is what the boys are doing on Friday or Saturday so you can do it all again. Of course you have no mission. Of course you hate your life because you're not doing anything that excites you. When we speak about this earlier, I was talking about doing things that serve you and disregarding the rest. You're doing it the backwards way. You're doing everything that doesn't serve you and you're doing nothing that does because you're too scared to take the leap. Mm-hmm. You don't have mission because you're not even fucking trying. Mm-hmm. You can think about mission all you like. You can think about that job. You can think about the business you want to run. You can think about all of the dream partners you want to have, the amount of kids you want to have, the house you want to live in. You can watch all these motivational videos online. You can listen to this damn podcast and think that you're going to get better at your life. Yep. But the reality is you have an inability to actually give life a red hot crack and make decisions for you. That's why you don't have mission. There's no secret formula. Yep. There's no like fairy dust that I can sprinkle on you to give you mission. You are missionless because you're asking to be missionless. Yep. And it's your own fucking fault. Yep. And like how do you expect? Are you delusional? I don't care about your childhood and that's why you're there. I don't care that you're overweight and the reason you're overweight is because of your genetics. No, your fucking elbow bends too much and you eat too much. Like, I don't care that you can't afford to go to the gym, but you can afford to buy takeout. None of this cares. And like, realistically, when you actually live in that frame, you realize that like, no one gives a fuck about you, whether you're fit or you're fat. The only person that's being hurt by this is you. Mm-hmm. You're the one that hates your life. Mm-hmm. And it's a hard look in the mirror that you need to have and go, I'm about to embark on a journey that's hard. I've gotten down to a spiral and I'm in a place that is going to be very hard to get out. But what's the point of living if you're not going to get out of that?
Mm-hmm.
And it's not about ending your life.
Mm-hmm.
It's about starting your life.
Yeah.
It's about going like, now it's time to change. Now it's time to actually do what I want. You can teach an old dog new tricks.
Mm-hmm.
You can. If you're fat, you can get fit. If you're dumb, you can fucking get smart. I don't know how to read. Like I literally fall asleep trying to read 10 pages.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to write a book and be an author.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Mm-hmm.
I want to be a poet. I want to write books. I want to live out on a farm and I want to raise family.
Yeah.
And I want to go on a book tour and sell out stadiums. But I can't even read 10 pages without falling asleep.
Yeah.
Do you think I just write that off and be like, it's not for me? No. Is it going to be hard? Yes. Good. You know, like what's hard is the very thing you should be doing. It's a sign that you're on the right track because you're doing something that's actually worthwhile. Like we're too comfort ridden.
Yeah.
There's too much noise in our life that's making it out that we can be complacent and be comfortable. Yeah. And I think specifically for men, there's this, I wish I could pull it up on my phone, but it's this awesome distinguishment between the different challenges that men and women have.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
A woman's challenge is internal, a man's challenge is external.
Mm-hmm.
And the women are under this pressure to conform. There's this societal norm that's going against their biology. Like women are born with intrinsic value. They have the portal of life. They're a woman, but they're not being championed to be a woman. They feel like they need to do all these other things to define their worth when in reality they're born with something that's more valuable than any man ever has, the portal of life. And their challenge is to not conform to what society's telling them and to feel like they could actually be themselves. A man is not born with any value. When the ship sinks, we take care of children, we take care of women, and the men are just sacrificial lamb.
Mm-hmm.
Like we need to build ourselves up.
Mm-hmm.
It's a challenge and it's a pressure to perform.
Mm-hmm.
And for that, I say good. And like we get this opportunity to be able to build ourselves up so we can attract the dream partner, the mother to our children, and have this amazing life, become calm by going through all the chaos. And the moment we steer off that path, the moment we're going to go down this slippery slope of feeling lost, feeling useless, feeling worthless, having mental health problems, having suicidal thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think the answer to that, to combat that, is to just go through more. And mission will just magically appear in your life when you start to do that.
Yeah. Thank you for that. We all needed that. Something fascinating happened recently, and I've been really torn on it, and I'll entertain it for a sec, but I made this 4-foot poster of 300 things to do before I die.
I saw that it went viral.
Yeah, it went super viral, got like a couple million views in like a couple weeks. And the call to action that I put out in the video was like, go make your own list of 300 things to do before you die. DM me a spreadsheet of the list, and then the first 5 people who do that, I will make you a custom poster for free and I'll ship it to your home. I got like 10,000 DMs in a couple weeks. Almost all of them, though, were asking to buy my list. No one made their own list. Like very few people, I could probably count on 2 hands, who made their own list and like really did the thing. And I sent the 5. But everyone wanted to just buy mine. I was like, the fuck? This is my life. You can't just buy my life. Like, this is a very custom list with my family and friends literally named on it and like my things on it. All right, you want to buy it? I'll sell it to you. I don't know. That's kind of weird. And I've been thinking about it for a couple months now, and I realized people aren't like necessarily looking to buy my life. They just really have no fucking clue of their own life. I was like, well, if this can inspire them to like maybe do a few things, then all right, maybe I'll sell them like a list of just blank lines and you fill it out along the way. And that's a cool product, whatever. So I want to ask like a version of the mission question that aligns with like, let's play into that and like entertain these people for a sec. What are some of your favorite missions that you've heard other men are on to maybe inspire some people? Like if you have no idea what your calling is, what your mission is, what you're here for, what you should do with that, like, all right, I'm going to take an hour every day and like do a thing. Let's give some examples to inspire them of like, this is what it can turn into.
Yeah, I don't think that's powerful though.
Okay.
Because then they'll just want to buy that mission.
Right.
That they'll want to buy your list of 300 people because it's an example.
Yeah.
And that's easy.
Yeah.
Oh, done.
That shit took me 25 hours to make a list. I'm like,
Yeah,
but
well,
it's not about the list. It's about the 25 hours it took to make it. That shit was hard.
Yeah, it's the introspection. It's the thought. It's like actually getting deep on what you want. If I go and tell you a mission to do and you go do it, guess what? You're not going to be fucking happy. It's my mission, not yours.
Yeah.
There's no value in that. Like, there's not. And in fact, that would make something certain. And when something's certain, there's no value in it because in the uncertainty is where the value is. The fact that you don't know what to do is the best part because think about it. When you find what you want to do, you're going to have a comparison of a time that you didn't know what you want to do. Mm-hmm. And that comparison is what makes it special.
That's the whole story.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
That's the reason. It's not about the mission. It's about finding it.
Yeah.
And again, the Alchemist, you're never going to fucking find the thing that you want. Mm-hmm. And that's the best part. You know, Matthew McConaughey talks about, he on his Oscar speech, it's one of the greatest speeches of all time. He's like, there's 3 things that I need in my life. He's like, one is something to look up to, one is something to look forward to, and one is someone to chase. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And he goes, the first one is there's someone to look up to, and that's God. He's my hero. He's the guy I look up to. I feel like I always need that person to look up to. One is someone to look forward to. That's my wife, Camilla, my kids, Levi, and everyone that I get to come home to. That is something that I look forward to. And the third one is someone to chase. And, you know, there was this guy that came up to me when I was 15 years old, and he asked me who my hero is. And I didn't know the answer, so I went and thought about it. That's what he says. He's like, and then the guy came back to me a week later and he said, Matthew, who's your hero? And he goes, I thought about it. It's me in 10 years.
Yeah.
And he's like, okay. 10 years goes by and the guy comes up to him. He's 25 years old. He goes, Matthew, have you found your hero yet? And he's like, no, it's me at 35. He's like, because every day, every week, every month, every year, it's always 10 years ahead. Yeah. I'm never going to reach that because then that gives me something to chase. You're not supposed to reach the hero, the mission, the dream life. You can damn get closer to it. But the best part about it is it creates a journey. It's like you have the board to shoot at and you can actually start shooting. Mm-hmm. And the key here is like the uncertainty. You need to be embodying that feeling and going, this is what it's meant to feel like. Like it's a sign that I'm doing something right. Now, if you're in an uncertain state and you don't like your life, it's not about finding something. As we said earlier, it's about removing the shit. If I look at my life and all of the times where I'm uncertain, all of the times where I do not like what I'm doing, there is shit in my life that is not serving me and I need to cull it. And when I cull it and I have this free space, I can invite some stuff in. Mm-hmm. And guess what happens? Things start showing up in my life. And I go, oh, wow, that seems pretty cool. How about I dive in and give that a little go? And then I dive in and I realize that, oh, that's not serving me. There's aspects of it that are, so I take those and get rid of the ones that don't and figure out what's on the other side of the ones that do. And then I kind of go in another little step and I realize that there's more things that serve me and more things that don't. And then I disregard the things that don't and onboard the things that do. And then what happens is all of a sudden I have way more things that do and less things that don't. And then I keep doing that same thing where I'm trying and I'm onboarding shit that doesn't serve me and things that do. I get rid of the things that don't and onboard the things that do. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden you do this time and time again. And what you're filled with is things that serve you and not many things that don't. But the first step to this is being aware of the things that don't and being aware of the things that do so you can do more of them. Mm-hmm. And if we're too mindless and we don't go through life being aware of the things that we have in our life, of course we're not going to like our life because you don't even know what's good about it and what's bad. And yeah, removing the things that don't serve you is going to be the best way to be able to find more things that do.
Thank you for that one as well. Dropping gold here. What have you been gnawing on lately, intellectually?
What have I been what?
Gnawing on.
What do you mean?
Just chewing on in your head, trying to puzzle together, figure out, like it's just constantly on your brain.
Yeah. It's that thing, that gap between what I think and what I say. Like, it's the ultimate superpower.
Mm-hmm.
Authenticity. Ultimate superpower.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's nothing greater. There's nothing. I truly believe that there is nothing greater than being truly who you are. And in a world where people feel like they need to silence their thoughts because they're going to get judged and left out of the pack, it's more important to share our thoughts. And for me, I feel a lot. And I think a lot. And just what's been screaming at me is I need to share that more. I need to scream it at the top of my lungs.
Yeah.
Because not enough people have the courage to do that.
Yeah.
Like, people might see something as controversial, but I truly deep down see it as common sense. And to be able to not just say, oh, it's controversial, I'm not going to say it, but actually go, no, I actually think that's common sense. Let's just fucking say it.
Mm-hmm.
Like thinking like there was one controversial thing about overweight people, and some massive influencer back in Australia said like health comes in different sizes. And I'm like, no, it doesn't. It doesn't. Is that politically incorrect? Maybe. Fuck the politics. It's common sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're carrying too much weight. And I don't think that's good, because you could be in a hospital bed and nothing else will matter about getting out of that bed. Common sense in my eyes.
Yeah.
Like I think there's this silence nature and this culture, and it's definitely nowhere near as bad in America than it is in Australia, but they want to silence you for saying something that's different.
It's pretty intense here.
It's intense here.
Yeah.
But like, for example, in Australia, something that's happened recently, which is just ridiculous. Like in COVID, the Bondi, I lived in Bondi Beach. It's like one of the most famous beaches in the world. The community built weights there's an outdoor gym, kind of like Venice, but it's just got no crackies and homeless people in it. It's actually just people that want to train.
Yeah.
There's a outdoor gym. The community, like COVID in Australia, they shut down. You weren't allowed to leave your house. You weren't allowed to go 5 kilometers, like 3 miles from your home, or else you get big trouble, house raids, all the thing. It was insane. You weren't allowed, without the jab, you were not allowed to do basically anything. You couldn't even go like get groceries, really. They basically like policed everything. The community decided to make weights out of concrete for the gym because all gyms were closed for a very long time. So the community like went together and they got concrete and they made these weights with PVC pipe and concrete, and it was amazing. Like all these weights, this outdoor gym had a space for all the locals and community to keep fit during a time where they were closing everything down and you weren't allowed to leave your house. Amazing. Phenomenal. Recently, the government removed all the weights from the gym because it was attracting too much testosterone and it was a trip hazard. No one's walking in the gym unless they're training. It's not a fucking trip hazard.
Yeah.
Too much testosterone, too much health. What, a 6-pack is too daunting for someone that's fat? Ridiculous. You cannot tell me that is a net positive.
Yeah.
Stopping people from training in the sun out at one of the most famous beaches in the world. Ridiculous. And I'm not going to just let that slide. Whereas maybe before, the gap between what I thought and what I said was different, and I would have just let that slide. Not anymore.
Yeah.
Not anymore. When they came after me and all I was saying is I want to work my ass off to give my partner the freedom of choice to do whatever she wants, to make a decision based on passion and desire, not survival and need. And when they came after me for that and tried to say that I was a misogynist, a sexist, everything under the sun, and every news article came out, the ABC and everything in different angles, saying that I was this horrible person, but all I do is just want to do good and really truly lead with passion and empathy and impact. Let that slide and keep my brand deals, because I didn't lose the brand deals when I said it. I lost it when I doubled down. Or say, no, you fucking clown. I agree with what I believe in. And what you're saying is ridiculous. I think without that, you have nothing to stand for. And what's the point of living? Like, what's the point of all the nice cars? What's the point of all the nice things? What's the point of the followers? What's the point of the praise? And what's the point of the opportunity if you don't even have the one thing that you're left with, your soul? People are willing to sell that thing left, right, and center like it's nothing. Say something and put their name behind something that they don't believe in. And I can't think of anything worse. You can take away any of that stuff. You can take away everything that I have before saying something that I don't truly believe in.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I think if we can live in that lens, that's where magic will be born. And that's what I'm trying to do. And that's what's itching me and fueling me to build the biggest podcast in the world and be a household name.
My last question for you. Everyone gets this question. What do you think it means to be a man today?
Having humility and having strength. And the reason I say humility is because you can't really have ego and humility at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think ego serves us as men.
You don't think it does?
No. Ego is basically, in my opinion, ego is something that you show for people to see how good you are and remind you of how good you are so you can believe it too. And I think it's not actually true confidence. I think you're only operating from ego if you're not truly confident. And I think if you have humility, you need to remove the ego, because humility is willingness to be wrong. If we can have the humility to be wrong, but also have the strength to speak and believe and act in a way that aligns with us, and we can start doing things for us and not be scared of pain and not be scared of hardship, I think we can be pretty good men. I think when you look at if you were to sit on a date with a woman and you would ask her truly why she's sitting across you right now, all of the characteristics that she's going to say are probably earned. You're not born with them. If you ask her, I love how calm you are. I love how respectful you are. I love how wise you are. I love how kind you are. You're not born with all of this. You need to go through shit to build all of those stamps and badges on you so that you can become all of those things. And like, with that in itself, it's like you can't just sit on your ass. We're not made here to do nothing. I think there is a duty as men to be able to provide a level of safety for a woman, emotionally, physically. And I think there's this level of being able to allow a woman to feel like she can be her true self. And I just think if a man doesn't go through anything, they won't be able to do that. Like if you remove women from men's life, I don't think men would be anywhere near as driven as they are. I don't think I'd sleep on the beach. What would we be doing any of this for?
Yeah.
I want to attract the dream mother to my children, and I want to have children, and I want my partner to feel like she can be a mum for a living. And we should champion that, because it's the hardest fucking job in the world. And without me playing my part and giving her the freedom to be able to make her decisions on passion so she can feel safe and not feel like she needs to survive, we can really like bring out the best version of her, make her feel safe, and make her not feel trapped. Like, we need to go through shit ourselves. And we need to shield that pain from her to be able to do that. And I think that's what our duty is. And there's this counter argument of like, yeah, but what you're doing is you're putting too much pressure on men. The suicide rates in men are increasing more than anything. And that's just adding to the problem. I'm like, the suicide rates are increasing because men have no meaning.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, if you find any masculine man, like the thing that lights them up the most is to be able to provide and protect.
Mm-hmm.
That's what excites us.
Mm-hmm.
We want to be able to pay for the meal.
Yeah.
Like we want to be able to provide and protect. And like without that, what is our place?
Yeah.
And so when the media and the propaganda is targeting, it's okay to be vulnerable, which it is, but you've got to show strength. You can't be a soppy mess. Like when they're portraying, like when they're creating more weak men, which is what's happening, but the men are just too weak. And I'm being brutally honest. Like, I think that the biggest problem is we're creating too many weak men. And what's happening from that is the women don't feel safe. So then the women have to try and be men. And then they go away from what they want. But then the men that have actually been men and strong don't want a woman that's a man. They want a woman that's a woman. And so then there's this massive divide because the women can't find men that they want and men that are attracted to them. And the men can't get girls because they're not men. And there's just massive confusion. And I think it comes down to too many weak men.
Mm-hmm.
We create stronger men. Women feel more safe. Women can be who they truly want to be. We can have a lot more relationships. We can have a lot more women that want to be maternal and have more kids. And we can keep the nation going. And we can keep like America, and we can keep Australia without having to import all these people because population's declining. And I think it just comes down to building men up. And that's what it is to be a man, I think. It's external. It is. You're not born. You can't make more of you yourself. Like you don't have a portal of life. You actually don't have any intrinsic value. Like you're worthless. To be brutally honest, you have fucking nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Make something. They don't say to kids, they don't say to young women, go make something of yourself. They say it to men, go make something of yourself. That there implies you don't already have something.
Mm-hmm.
like when you understand that, you realize that like you actually need to build yourself up, or of course you're going to feel like shit. And yeah, build yourself up, be calm by going through more chaos, and you'll probably get closer towards being a man.
I love this conversation. Thank you, my man. How can people find you online?
If you look up Chris Griffin, you still see Family Guy before me.
For now.
But we're getting
You're
there.
slightly better looking.
Yeah.
Quite a bit.
And not fat. But yeah, more Chris Griffin. My podcast is the Pocket Podcast. We're rapidly growing. It's my main focus. I do two things in this world. I want to build the biggest podcast in the world, and I want to build the biggest school for podcasters in the world.
Mm.
So I help other podcasters grow. And so if there's any interest in people that want to work closer with me, that's what I do. I consider myself the best person to help other people grow. I went from having absolutely nothing, no money, no idea of what I was doing, to building the biggest podcast in Australia. And now we're building the biggest show in the world, doing massive productions and traveling around interviewing the most fascinating minds. And I did it with just me. And now we have a team. And so I help people grow. And then I'm on a mission to do some really cool things and create some cool magic. And that's kind of what I'm doing at the moment. And that's what's exciting me most. So yeah, you can find that on More Chris Griffin on Instagram or thepodcastjungle.com on Google.
Love it. Thank you, brother.
Thank you, man. I really appreciate you.
Yeah.